Have you ever felt like you're stuck between where you were and where you want to be? Not quite in one place, but not fully arrived at the next either? You're not lost, but you're not clear either. You're in what I like to call the gray zone, an in-between state, a liminal space where nothing is quite clear. This is a transitional phase, a space many of us find ourselves in when undergoing big life changes. In this video, I guide you through why we find ourselves in these zones of uncertainty and how we can navigate them. Because with the right mindset and tools, this undefined space holds the potential for deep transformation. So let's get comfortable in the gray. Hey, my name is Greg from Renew. I'm a master coach helping people, teams, and organizations to know themselves, design their future self, and become their future selves. Renew and I are here to help you live a life where you have control. So why do we find ourselves in this in-between state? The answer lies in the nature of life itself. Life is dynamic, constantly shifting. And as we grow, change, and transition, we often fall into these uncertain spaces. Life is full of transitions, whether it's a career change, a personal challenge, or even just a period of inner growth. At times, the life we once knew, the identity we once held into, begins to slip away. And suddenly we find ourselves in what feels like no man's land. There's no clear path, no defined direction, and this space can be unsettling because we're wired to seek certainty. We like to know what's coming next, don't we? But here is the twist. Often this gray zone, this moment of feeling stuck, isn't a sign that something has gone wrong. It's a natural part of the transformation process. Think about it. When was the last time you felt totally clear about something, only for that clarity to start slipping away? Maybe you got a new job and for a while everything felt right. Then suddenly that initial clarity faded and you started questioning things again. I want you to think back to a time in your life when you experienced this shift from clarity to confusion. Ask yourself the following questions to identify this moment. What moved you from that solid ground to this foggy middle? Was it an external event? Maybe a big decision? Or did it come from within, perhaps a growing sense that the direction you were headed in wasn't quite right anymore? We fall into this liminal space when the old version of ourselves no longer fits, but the new version hasn't fully arrived yet. It's as though we're caught between two worlds, the world of who we were and the world of who we are becoming. And then there is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of letting go of what's familiar. Because our brains are wired to resist uncertainty. But there is a catch. Staying in that familiar place doesn't help us grow. So, while the brain may resist the unknown, it's in this very space of uncertainty, the transition zone, if you will, where the most profound transformations happen. So falling into the gray zone is part of the process. It's a sign that change is happening. And instead of fighting it, what if we embraced it? What about you? What would happen if you lean into this space instead of resisting it? What's one thing you can take away from this moment of uncertainty? You might be surprised to know that our resistance to uncertainty is deeply wired into us. Let's dive into the neuroscience behind it. First of all, our body and brain like when we're in a state of equilibrium, which is called homeostasis. This equilibrium depends on having a stable environment. And change is instability for body and mind. Then meet your amygdala. This small but mighty part of the brain is responsible for processing emotions, especially fear. When we encounter something new or uncertain, like the ambiguous territory of a major life change, our amygdala lights up, sending out an internal alarm. This is your brain's way of protecting you from the unknown, which it often interprets as danger. This can lead to that anxious and settled feeling you get when you're not sure what comes next. The amygdala is great at helping you survive. It's not very good at helping you thrive. In fact, the longer you stay in that uncertain space, the more likely you are to experience mental fatigue and decision paralysis. All because your brain is trying to protect you by freezing you in place. There's good news though. Your brain has this amazing ability called neuroplasticity, which is basically its capacity to change and adapt, rewrite itself. In other words, you can train your brain to navigate through the no man's land of change. Instead of freezing in fear, you can rewire your brain to find clarity and move forward. So how do we do that? Well, one way is by taking small intentional steps. Each time you take action, no matter how small, your brain releases dopamine, that wonderful chemical that gives us a sense of reward and motivation. Even a tiny step forward in this transition zone can create a dopamine hit, which tells your brain, hey, I'm making progress. Things aren't as uncertain as they seem, and you can learn much more about small steps in your life in this video here. But it's not just the brain that reacts to this liminal space. Our body does too. When you are in this blurry middle of uncertainty, your body tends to release stress hormones like cortisol. This is your body's way of preparing you to fight or flee. It's great when you're in actual danger, but when you're just dealing with an uncertain life transition, it can cloud your thinking and make clarity even harder to find. When cortisol levels rise, you can experience brain fog, fatigue, and even having problem making decisions. Here is where biology comes in to help. You see, the body is incredibly adaptable. Just like the brain can rewire itself, your body can calm itself down and restore balance. Techniques like deep breathing, movement, and mindfulness can lower cortisol levels and help you regain mental clarity. It's a way to tell your body, we're not in danger, it's okay to relax. Let's try a simple exercise right now. It's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. You inhale for 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold for 7 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you exhale slowly for 8 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This helps calm the nervous system and lower the stress level. You feel that? Just a few deep breaths can make a huge difference when you're feeling stuck in this transitional phase. By calming your body, you give your brain the chance to think clearly again. The brain and body work together to help us through life's uncertain territories. And the more you practice these strategies, the better equipped you will be to handle the next time life throws you into one of these blurry zones. You like this video so far? Then you know what to do. Also subscribe and put on the notifications if you want to receive content like this every week. And check out in the description below all other YouTube videos and links which talk about the same concept. I want to introduce you or reintroduce you to a framework that's really powerful for guiding you through gray zones. It's called SPIRE, and that stands for spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional well-being. I've talked about this concept in multiple videos, and you can find one of them here. SPIRE is a holistic approach that helps you focus on all dimensions of your life to make yourself happy and at peace. When we're caught in this ambiguous territory, it's easy to feel like everything is out of balance. SPIRE helps us regain that balance, step by step, no matter how foggy things might feel. Let's start with spiritual well-being. Now, when I say spiritual, I don't necessarily mean religious, although it can include that. Spiritual well-being is about finding a sense of meaning and purpose, even when you're in this liminal space where nothing seems clear. When you're in this uncertain territory, it's easy to feel like you've lost your way. But what if, instead of resisting, you ask yourself, what's the bigger picture here? What can this moment teach me? Even in the fog, there is meaning to be found. I invite you to reflect on this question. What deeper purpose might this transition serve in my life? It doesn't have to be clear yet, but recognizing that there is a purpose, even when you can't see it, can be incredibly grounding. Next, we have physical well-being. The connection between our body and mind is powerful, and when we're stuck in this foggy middle, one of the simplest ways to start moving toward clarity is literally to move. Physical movement, whether it's going for a walk, doing yoga, or even just stretching, can help clear the mental fog. You see, when you move, your body releases dopamine and also endorphins, and many other chemicals that help lift your mood and sharpen your focus. Let's try something simple right now. Stand up, roll your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and just stretch your arms overhead, for instance. This might seem small, but it's a powerful way to reset your body and your mind. Even small movements like this can shift your energy and help you find some clarity in this uncertain space you find yourself in. The key is to get your body moving so your mind can follow. Now let's talk about intellectual well-being. When you are in the no man's land of life, this space where nothing seems certain, it can be easy to feel stuck mentally. But here is an opportunity. This gray zone is actually a perfect time to engage your curiosity and expand your mind. By learning something new or diving deeper into subjects that interest you, you can create a sense of progress, even when everything else feels unclear. It doesn't have to be life-changing. Something as simple as reading an article or learning a new skill can give your mind a sense of forward momentum. One thing I often recommend is picking a small learning project, something that excites you, even if it's not directly related to your current situation. It could be a new hobby or something you've been curious about for quite a while. By filling your mind, you're showing yourself that progress is still happening, even in the blurry middle. Also, when you're in this transitional space, it's easy to feel isolated, like you're going through it alone. But here is the truth. You don't have to navigate this uncertainty by yourself. That's where relational well-being comes in. Relationships are essential during times of uncertainty. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a mentor, a coach, having someone to talk to, share your struggles with, or even just be present together can make all the difference. So I encourage you to reach out to someone today. It could be as simple as a conversation over coffee or a phone call to reconnect. Remember, we're not meant to go through life's liminal spaces alone. We grow and find clarity through connection. Finally, we have emotional well-being. When you're navigating the gray zone, your emotions are likely all over the place. Frustration, anxiety, maybe even excitement, and that's okay. The key is recognizing and managing those emotions. One of the best ways to manage emotions in this uncertain space is by acknowledging them. Journaling, for example, is a powerful tool to reflect on what you're feeling and why. Mindfulness practices can also help you stay grounded and avoid being overwhelmed by the emotional roller coasters that often comes with transition. You can also use an emotional wheel, which will help you to find the vocabulary to express the emotions that you're feeling. Take a moment each day to check in with yourself. Ask, what am I feeling right now? And how can I support myself through this? By acknowledging and accepting your emotions, you take back control and find peace, even in the most ambiguous territories. As we move forward through life, we're not just progressing from one task to another one or one challenge to the next. We're constantly evolving in our understanding of ourselves, the world around us, and our relationships with others. This gray zone that we've been talking about is not just a place of confusion. It's a crucial step in our journey to a higher level of consciousness. Think of life as a series of levels, a bit like in a video game. At each level, we develop a clearer understanding of who we are, what our purpose is, and how we relate to the people and environment around us. We expand to become fuller human beings. To move from one level to the next, we have to pass through these in-between spaces, these liminal zones, where things feel unclear, foggy, or even disorienting. These moments of uncertainty are what prepare us for the clarity and wisdom that comes with reaching the next level. At the first level of consciousness, we might be focused on ourselves, our needs, our immediate goals. But as we grow, we begin to see beyond just our own perspective. We start to understand how we fit into the bigger picture, how our choices affect others, and how we are connected to something greater. Each time we hit a blurry middle, it's because we're transitioning to a deeper, more expansive understanding of ourselves and the world. Think about how a butterfly struggles to break free from its chrysalis. That struggle is necessary for its wings to grow strong enough to fly. In the same way, these uncertain spaces we go through in life are necessary for consciousness to expand. Without that struggle, without feeling a little lost or unsure, we shouldn't gain the strength and insight needed for the next level of understanding. As we move through these levels of consciousness, we start by understanding ourselves, our own thoughts, emotions, and motivations. And as we grow, our focus expands. We begin to see others with more empathy, understanding their struggles, their dreams, and their fears. And eventually our awareness broadens to include the environment, the way we interact with and impact the world around us. So, what's the next level of consciousness that you're ready to step into? What new insights are waiting for you on the other side of this transformation? Much more about levels of consciousness in this video here. Remember that your growth is not linear. There will be elements progressing in your life, others not. There will be many steps forward and quite a few steps back. There's not a better quote than this one from Anais Nin to illustrate this. We do not grow absolutely, chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension and not in another, unevenly. We grow partially. We are relative. We are mature in one realm, childish in another. The past, present, and future mingle and pull us backward, forward, or fix us in the present. One key aspect to cultivate to go through zones of uncertainty in your life is resilience. If you want to learn a lot more about how to weather any storm, then check this video out.